everybody? Welcome, and we're back for another season of CityHawk Talk Live. Hi, Dr. Nick.
Hi, Bear. How are you, Chuck? How are you?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. My name is Chuck Roy. I'll be one of your co-hosts for the CityHawk Talk Live. I'm joined by my other co-host, Dr. Nick Taylor. Nick, do you want to introduce yourself to the gang or whatnot?
Oh, sure. I chair performing arts. I look over music and theater and kind of how we come back as a community and enjoy the arts in this post-pandemic world. We're had such good success with the first season of CityHawk Talk Live. We thought we'd come back for another one brought to you live on Zoom.
Yes, so you can join us live for the CityHawk Talk Live. Dr. Nick, you gave me a Kennedy Center Award.
I did give you a Kennedy Center Award for innovative education, for innovative curriculum and ways of making content accessible and applicable to students in the modern day. I think even more so as evidence of how we got to where we are right now with the second season of CityHawk Talk.
Right. Then you told me to brag about it. And so I'm doing that. I've done that consistently. I have followed that objective. I'll tell you what I did between winning Kennedy Center Awards and then a pandemic. I got fat, Nick.
Did you?
Yeah. If I get any fatter, we're going to have to switch from Zoom to Pan.
I hear you. You know, I somehow lucked out there. They talk about the COVID-15, and you know, most of us, at least a little advanced in years, kind of have flashbacks to the freshman 15. But I somehow avoided. I did not gain 15 pounds. I lost it, and I think you did tell me you found it.
Right. I found everything you lost, and then some. And we have plenty of guests. We have a great show ahead, everybody. Keylee Anderson is here. She'll talk to us a little bit about her experience in the theater, a big star of the CCD theater department. Hopefully Queen will join us from the Student Government Association. And then Lindsay Clark is here from the Excel Zone to tell us about digital storytelling. And then this is it. Dr. Nick, you used all of your clout on campus to get us our big finale. We've got SWOOP.
We do.
The mascot is coming up, and as well as we've found some of the people who didn't make the audition.
You know, I tell you, we put a call out for folks that were turned down as potential mascots, and it was a flood of calls. People are disgruntled. They really thought they got a sham deal, and I think there's some beef going on. I hope right. None of them show up the same time SWOOP does, because, you know, I mean, my money's on SWOOP, but some of these mascots were, you know, a little intimidating on the phone.
Right. So lots of fun for you ahead. I promise none of my jokes will be dirtier than the air quality in Denver.
That's great. That's great.
We should highlight some of the upcoming classes. There's some classes that are still available to sign up for if you're interested, or if you're looking for a late start class.
Yeah, sometimes you miss that first test, or, you know, that accounting book didn't come in, and you're better off waiting until next term to take it.
You're like, I'm dropping algebra. I remember I dropped algebra. I couldn't hack it the first time around. So
it just didn't add up for you, huh?
No, it didn't. I don't deal well with X's.
Yeah.
Our wonderful graphics department includes Hannah, and then Hannah, and she's doing a great job.
It's totally worth all of the money, all of it. Make us look good.
I think right. Hannah, I already screwed up. We're one slide in, and I went to these ads, and next I'll go to Keylee, I promise.
Like riding a bike, Chuck. You know, you'll get back in the hang of it. You'll get back in the hang of it. You'll get that balance.
Right. It is like riding a bike. A lot of things I do end up flat. Okay. Last fat joke of the show. Sign up for the comedy class. if you want to learn how to tell horrible puns or perform stand-up comedy live in front of an audience.
Now, when you say live in front of audience, Chuck, am I correct that students actually go out to local establishments, maybe watering holes or other places where people gather and actually tell jokes at open mics? Like,
yeah, you got to do it for real. You tell jokes in class, you go out to places and you perform, and the final exam is going to be a comedy show at the Buntport Theater. I used my clout there to get us. The Buntport is just one of the coolest little indie venues in town. So
if I want my own Netflix special telling dirty jokes, I start by taking this comedy class. 10 weeks.
Yeah, the first day I taught the class, I had a special come out on Hulu, Ralphie May Filthy Animal Tour. So I tell dirty jokes for a living, and I'll teach you how to do that. And you'll be out in the real. Denver has a terrific comedy scene. And you can also learn how to do comedy online as well. I host a Zoom show on Mondays. So sign up for the comedy class. And then if you want to do things like production, there's a late start class in theater production. Dr. Nick, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, sure. We're auditioning this week and building a crew together in a creative team. For production work, we'll be working on segments for this show, doing some live interviewing around campus. We'll be doing a 15-minute comedic version of Hamlet, kind of done outside in October. We've got some other events with the improv team and movie nights planned. So it's a great way to kind of learn by doing. You get started right away, getting your hands dirty and building and working and creating and making, something we all need after all of this time in quarantine. I need to sit back and be entertained a little bit, have my mind kind of turned on a little bit.
Boss, I got to tell you, doing Hamlet in 15 minutes is like as long as my attention span can last. And
it's perfect. It's theater for busy people.
If we could just add beer, like drunk 15-minute Hamlet.
There's Shakespeare, right?
That show is coming up, and then Hannah, last slide, and then we'll go to Keylee. Hannah, I think you're registering for this class, Intro to the Entertainment Industry. It's going to be taught synchronously on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I teach that class. You'll develop a resume, a media kit, and you'll develop content for this show. And you'll do some digital storytelling, which we'll talk about in a little bit with Lindsay. So,
as an artist, I'm very glad to have my job in academia. Where I don't have to look for the next gig. Knock on wood. But I tell you, the one thing I wish I always had in my training as an artist was more information on the business side of performing and how to pay the bills and how to make a living and actually have my talents work for me.
Right. So you helped me build this class, and we're in agreement there. We have an awesome theater program, and it's only getting more awesomer because we're trying to make sure you exit the program with a career path, the skills you need, and the tools you need to get a job, to get gigs. So that's what that class is all about. Hannah, you're doing a great job, and we're going to bring out our first guest. Why not, right? She's a super talent. We won't need to. We'll just bring her out. I don't think we're going to bring her. Oh, you're right. We'll bring her card up so people can see what her name is spelled like. And let's say hello to Keylee Anderson, everybody. Hi, Keylee.
Hello, everybody.
You're the big star of CCD Theater. Let's just admit that, right? Is that?
I would say I am one of them. Right.
You're that kind and unselfish. We know, like, you're just perfect. We get it. You're better than all of us. But
your words, not mine.
And they are my words. I really enjoy working with you. So. And love what you do. Can you tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself and what you do here at the CCD Theater?
Well, I am Keylee Anderson. I am the technical coordinator for the theater department. That means I handle all of the backstage, whatever we're doing for a show. If you're interested in set design, construction, being backstage run crew for a show, costuming, makeup, hair, lighting, sound, anything that puts the magic on stage and highlights our actors, I'm the one you're going to want to come and talk to.
Magic on stage is what we're going to finish this conversation with, because you've been in like 10,000 of our shows. I mentioned the Kennedy Center earlier. You've been to the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival, haven't you?
Yep, I have been participating since 2013.
Right.
I started as a student, and then when Nick used to be the chair of the region, I helped him manage that whole thing as well.
Right. So can you just, I think this is something that makes our theater program stand out, because I don't think the other theater programs in town get up to the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. The schools in Fort Collins do and such, but tell us a little bit, like, if you're a parent and you're thinking, oh my God, I got to pay the bills for my kid to go take theater classes. Oh Christ, I want them to get a job. How did the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival sort of distinguish your education experience in theater?
I mean, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge advocate. If I'm talking to a parent, it's really assuring that we as a community college participate in it, because the big focus with us is we take these students who may not have any experience yet, and we bring them to this festival that's just theater constantly all week. Anything and everything you can possibly imagine is there. And our students have the unique opportunity to network and meet professors and faculty and other students at four-year programs. One of our best examples was Michael Smith. He started here at CCD the same time I did. We're really good friends. And then at KCACTF, he auditioned for the 10-minute play festival, got cast, and he went to University of Idaho, finished his degree out there, and now he's working in Chicago as a Blue Man, as part of the Blue Man group. Kevin Neighbors is another really good example. He's making a wonderful career for himself, and he came to CCD, came to KCACTF with us, and met his opportunities there.
Awesome.
So it's a really good way for our students to network and meet those other schools and face to face with them, so that they get a leg up rather than just showing up to class one day.
So Keylee, you're someone that people over the years might recognize because you were on stage so much, and now you're doing a lot of this technical coordinating. And I think a lot of times in the arts, people don't understand that theater does employ a lot of broad skills that are transferable to lots of industries and disciplines. Can you talk a little bit about how your theater training might have helped you with transferable skills that you've applied to other venues and in avenues?
Absolutely. Because I earned my degree in performance arts. I'm an actor, but I also love the tech. I love playing with power tools and building sets and working with wood and painting. And it is marginally easier to make money doing tech. So I figured I might as well just be in the industry. I work with my alma mater. Nick is a wonderful friend of mine. But in terms of transferable skills, I've also been able to find work. I was production manager for a conference, the Greater Greener Conference, that came through Denver a couple of years ago. I was referenced by somebody in the industry to a friend who was doing the conference. And because of my stage management skills that I had learned here at CCD, I was able to go into this event planning role. And I already had the skill set in terms of organizing different workshops into different rooms and running the keynote events, like calling all the shots for the tech and lighting and sound and audiovisual equipment. And he was really impressed with my time management skills. Theater also teaches you a lot about math. We even get up to trigonometry in our set design and set building elements. We use a lot of math, a lot of science. If you're trying to pull off a particular special effect, you know, you want pyrotechnics on stage, but you don't want anybody to catch fire. What chemicals do you use? If you come in and do stage management, you learn a lot of, sorry?
Gasoline.
Gasoline, exactly. That's a joke. Don't actually put gasoline on stage and set it on fire. But you also learn a lot about like people skills and how to network yourself and promote yourself as your own business. Chuck is a wonderful example of that. It also teaches you a lot about like conflict resolution. You know, we all have this shared common goal, and even if you don't love the people you're working with, you still find a way to connect with them and to work together to meet your common goal. So theater goes across everything. I am personally of the belief that if you do theater, you can find any job in the world and relate what you learned in theater to that job.
And you should be able to talk your way out of a speeding ticket in most cases.
Yes, take an improv class or two. It'll get you out of any situation.
Right. You're so wise, Keylee. For students in town, young and old, where's the best place to grab late night studying?
Well, for me, when I was a student here, there was a great cafe called Leela's Cafe. While I was at CTF1 year in Boise, Idaho, I found a tiny little secondhand thrift store, started talking to the owner and found out he had been here and found Leela's in like 1995. So it was a really weird connection through KCACTF that we had found out about each other. It was a great bar / cafe, and it was open literally 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So you could just go, sit, cram out some homework. I'm not 100% it survived COVID. And now that I'm old and decrepit now, my favorite place is the Tivoli Brewery here on campus. It's another great place to grab some food. You can sit down and just crunch out all your homework and then reward yourself with a beer at the end. I wouldn't recommend studying with a beer.
I don't know, man. Some of those textbooks require a beer.
Right. Agreed. I want to ask you.
More importantly, what are you binge watching?
Oh God, I'm back in school now. I've started my classes, so there's not really much binge watching going on.
What do you recommend?
My partner, Ian, is somewhat culturally undereducated in terms of I really hope he doesn't think I'm throwing him under the bus, but we've had to do some work, like watch Fight Club. He wasn't familiar with that, or Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
So right now we're watching our way through Breaking Bad. He had never seen that. And I think it's a wonderful show. It's amazing from all elements, especially if you do theater and you know what goes into a production like that. It's just brilliant work.
Brilliant character study, right?
Yeah, amazing work. Bryan Cranston definitely came into his own on that show.
So
He's amazing.
He's classically trained. He's a classically trained performer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Classically trained and brilliant. Keylee, I'm going to try and list all of the shows you've been in.
Okay.
These are at CCD. So correct me if I'm wrong. Laramie Project, 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
What was that about? What was your role?
So 10 years later is a sequel to a play called The Laramie Project. It's about Matthew Shepard, who was brutalized in Laramie, Wyoming. I'm sure we're all somewhat familiar, especially with the Westboro Baptist Church. But that was my very first show here at CCD. And it was interesting because I had done the first one my last year of high school, the semester prior. So my first class was with Nick, Theater Appreciation, and he had announced auditions for it. And I had gone to him and said, hey, I did the first one at my high school. And we actually went to Laramie and met like Rebecca Hilliker, who is a character in the play, because the play is actually, it's almost like a documentary where the characters in the play are actually real people accounting their experiences. And then the Laramie Project 10 years later, the same company goes back 10 years after they did the Laramie Project and re-interviews all of these people to kind of see how the town has changed and adjusted with everything that had happened there.
Oh, wow, that deep and probably difficult to work on emotionally. This next production sounds a little more fun and probably more for me. The Big Fat Naked Truth. What was that about?
Oh, that one. In order to say what it's about, you kind of need to sit down and have a discussion.
Okay.
It's kind of left to be interpreted by the audience, what the meaning is. It's a big empty room. And then all of these different people walk into it. They are coming from different walks of life. Like one character is like now we have the word for it. She's more of a Karen type. She's like in Cherry Creek walking into what she thinks is a cheese shop. And then she walks in and it's this big empty room. Somebody else thinks that they're going to a ballet class that they were going to take because they're trying to deal with their shyness and their anxiety.
A women's bathroom at a bar.
Yep, somebody thought it was a bathroom bar. My character walked in thinking I was going to court mandated therapy. And it's kind of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. My character never quite made the connection that I wasn't where I was supposed to be. So I just kind of rambled to everybody about my problems and just kind of completely oblivious that the rest of these people weren't supposed to be there. But once you enter the room, you can't walk back out again. So we have all these really clashing characters kind of butting heads and figuring each other out until I walk in right at the end. I just kind of like unload my stuff. And then at the end of it, I'm the one that ends up being able to open the door and walk out. And that's the end of the play, is me walking out, leaving the door wide open, and everyone just kind of stares at it. That's curtain.
Fuddy mirrors or dark play? Which one?
They both have their merits. Fuddy Mirrors is a wonderful farce full of great character work. I played a 60-year-old stroke victim, so I still have those lines memorized because they were jumbled, but they had to be jumbled in an exact way. So I kind of learned them phonetically, like I don't know more clay, Everton Rowan Zephyr already. That was one of my lines.
Oh my God.
And there was a translation in the back of the script, so I knew exactly what I was saying.
Which one was happier? Fourth graders present an unnamed love suicide, or best Christmas pageant ever?
Which one was happier? Definitely Christmas pageant. Fourth graders present an unnamed love suicide was a very interesting study. Great character work. It's definitely not happy. We ended up using a bucket of blood that we dropped from the grid at the end of every night. Best Christmas pageant ever had kids in it, actually. We had a mix of college students playing 5-year-olds, as well as we actually had some kids. Our adjunct professor, Landon Melendez, had both of her kids in the show with us. So it was a great family production, really fun to work with.
I'm going to rattle off a bunch here. Love's Fire, Noises Off, Big Love, Godspell, Dog Sees God, and then the poster behind you is The Sea is a Restless Horror. We did Pirates. And lastly, right before COVID, you directed your first show for us, the Vagina Monologues. What's that about?
So the Vagina Monologues is a
I didn't know they could talk.
Liberals, all liberals.
They have a lot to say.
Apparently.
On a monthly basis, even.
Right.
Yes. So yeah, it's a collection of monologues, and it was compiled by a woman named Eve Ensler. She kind of just asks women about how they perceive their own vaginas and what society kind of dictates, and they go through these experiences of like, the men I've dated prefer it to be clean shaven, but it's actually horrible and awful, and I don't want to do that to myself anymore. But it was a great collaborative experience.
It's a great show, and the list of shows includes it's a variety of the classics you would expect a theater person to have experience in, and then some really fun shows that would make me want to ask questions like, what did you do in this role and whatnot. So any final thoughts on how did you proceed from being a student in theater appreciation to an employee and then directing a show? Are you satisfied with that path? Or
I am. I've known ever since I was like 8 years old that theater is what I wanted to do. I did the middle school musicals, and it was great. So being able to come to CCD and have Nick as a professor and have these opportunities presented to me for the cost of a community college, because I had that cost barrier as part of my background. And being able to go to school in Denver, DCPA is like 3 blocks that way, is a fantastic opportunity. And being able to stick around and go into the world and do my networking around Denver. I studied improv at the Voodoo Comedy Playhouse, which is now Rise Comedy.
It's 6 blocks from the school. So
also it's right over there. CCD is a great way to expand into the Denver community of theater and network and get real life experience. And Nick, we're all very big in this department about teaching actual work ethic and life skills, and not just give you the theory and like the concepts and do the same 5, Tennessee Williams plays that everybody knows. We actually have material that challenges and questions and brings up current topics.
Awesome. And we go to the Kennedy Center. It's a good program, and I'm glad we finally got to talk to you, because that list of credentials is just impressive, and hopefully it inspires the students that are in the program to want to grow up and be just like Keylee. So speaking of people who you motivate and mentor, Hannah, thank you. Right on cue, you were like, "Bam, we're gonna take care of it." Hannah, we'll go through a couple of the slides, and we've got some announcements, and then we're going to bring up Lindsay from the Excel Zone to talk about digital storytelling. This first one, Hannah and company back there in the office, way to go. There's a production trailer, and they're just knocking it out. This came in fresh today. My friend Kim Gottfriedson had a scholarship she wants. She's going to come in to our show in October and talk about it, but this is the Academic Career Experience, an acronym. I'm surprised, but the ACE Scholarship Program.
Why isn't there an acronym for acronym?
There is no acronym for acronym, and I discovered that today, boss. So we have that to work on. This is a scholarship for STEM students. Reach out to Kim Gottfriedson, and she'll be on the show next month to talk about it. But we wanted to make sure you knew that was coming up. And if that suits you, please apply for that scholarship. We also have an audition coming up, Dr. Nick.
We do, yeah. Tomorrow and Thursday at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock, come by the Studio Theater. We're going to be performing the story of Hamlet in 15 minutes, scripted with a little bit of improv outdoors in October. We're hopefully going to be rehearsing a few hours a week during the day and putting this up. It's a great way to get involved, to meet some folks, to get some time in the spotlight, or think creatively about telling a Shakespearean tragedy in a humorous way, articulately in 15 minutes. So come join us. Should be a lot of fun.
Meant to be funny. We'll talk about the 15-minute Hamlet next month, but what do kids need to know to bring to the audition?
A joke. Bring a joke. Be able to come tell a story, a joke, something funny.
Yeah, interact on stage. If you can't do any of that, bring yourself and tell us you can't do that. Make it your first audition, and Dr. Nick will help you have some success there. Oh, yeah. We have more shows coming up and opportunities for stage time. Cue the next slide, Hannah. You're doing great back there. There's like 7 computers she has to operate, and a whole crew. We have a virtual stage and open mic coming up on September 27th, boss. It's going to be at 2 p.m. I posted this on my Facebook, and I know some professional comedians from my Zoom shows have signed up. So
love it. I love it.
Yes,
I love
it. And Ed Smythe has signed up, and he just presents some of my favorite characters, and I'm so glad he's going to be here. So you'll see some professional comedians as well as local performers and brand new people. So
it's a great way on a Monday to take a late lunch and sit at your desk and just laugh, right?
Yeah, laugh, perform, play your guitar, sing. Just if you're new, get on stage, get some experience. I'll be the host, and we'll get you to success. And then I think we have a little card here for our next episode of the CityHawk Talk Live.
Yes, brought to us by Pumpkin Spice, I believe.
Pumpkin Spice everything, boss.
Everything.
October 12th is our next event, and I'm not sure how this works, but we're going to pumpkin spice the out of things.
We sure are.
They're going to call us the Pumpkin Spice Girls, So I could not resist that. There was
pumpkin spice pencils.
Yes, pumpkin spice erasers, pumpkin spice whiteboards, pumpkin spicing your D2L course shell is going to be something I'm bringing.
If we get 50 people at our next episode, I think I can get Michelle Hopper to eat pumpkin spice cookies on camera.
That will be phenomenal. So speaking of phenomenal, we had a lot of success last year inviting the gang from the Excel Zone to come down and talk about digital storytelling. Our theater students love it. It is an awesome skill for people to have. So would you please welcome Lindsay Clark from the Excel Zone Digital Storytelling Group. Lindsay, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, and you're invited all the time. We love the whole department, everything y'all do. A lot of the trainings are led by students and former students, and people, and the videos are just, it's like students, and we love it. For people who don't know what digital storytelling is, can you walk us through what digital storytelling is? And maybe perhaps, is there a way to get a scholarship by doing this skill? I wonder if there is.
A couple ways.
Wow, we'll want to find out.
Yeah, I've got information on free money. So a digital story
That's my favorite kind of money.
Isn't it everyone's?
Oh, I love it.
So a digital story is an edited video that tells a story, plain and simple. And the way I like to explain it to faculty is that plus it's when you really value your student's voice and experience equally as part of your assessment. A lot of teachers use digital storytelling in place of an essay or in place of other types of assessment types, but people can also just make a video about anything. It could be personal, it could be something for work. I truly believe that every discipline can use digital storytelling to transmit information and tell stories about science, about business, about anything. So, so we try to support all subject areas, making digital stories, learning how to make videos through our video editing software, which CCD students get free premium access to.
We got to repeat that part, because once I took the training and used video, I bought a membership and threw away my computer video editing software that always breaks. This is powerful video editing software. It's the free version is powerful. So, you know, if you're listening and going, I don't want to go to college, just try the free version of video. It is a robust video editor. Can you speak a little more about it, please?
Absolutely. So Video is one of the only video editing platforms out there that lives in the cloud. Usually you have to download the app or pay for the app, and oftentimes apps are like hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands. But Video lives in the cloud. It has free access, and then with premium access through CCD, we have many licenses that we can give out to students, faculty, and staff. And it means that you don't have to have any watermarks on it. You actually have access to a bunch of stock imagery, footage, and music, and even sound effects. So you literally don't have to own a camera or lift a finger in terms of production in order to pull together a video that looks pretty darn good. I mean, it has drone shots, it has beautiful landscapes, it has examples of pretty much every keyword, every subject matter you might be telling a story about. And you can type that in and drag it in and add your spin to it, your narration, your story.
Right. And I want to circle back to how professors who might be watching, like when you mentioned this in sciences and whatnot, traditionally you don't think of like, hey, make a video as a science project. But if you have a student that is not connecting to your typical science class, offering the option to make a video, you may be surprised at what the student delivers. Because when I offer this opportunity to students, like all of a sudden some of the quietest, non-participatory students, just the camera, they're on camera, they record a 12-minute video, they're coming out of the closet, they're telling every story, you know, it's like, I'm like, you never spoke. And now all I did was give you an option to create a video, and you're communicating so much. So I see the benefit to instructors who might be a little wary of like, I don't want to do anything weird like digital storytelling. And it can really enliven and wake up students who may not be connecting to the way a science class can normally run.
It certainly empowers their voice, and it gives them a sense of ownership in curriculum that's pretty unique. And the way those moments last and stay when they're incorporated with a digital storytelling, which requires so much when you're doing that recursive process of editing and getting things exactly right. The material really does stick with you much past the 15 weeks that we get the student in class. That's for sure.
I totally agree. The editing process, that iterative process, it means that you're going through and you're refining your edited thing, but you're also retaining that information a lot better. It's a multimodal form of communication. So you're actually going to help out a lot of students who have different learning styles than the ones who can just write a paper or do something. Oftentimes things that require a lot of like special grammar or like special attention to grammar, that's going to lose a lot of ESL students and students who can probably better communicate themselves and express themselves by having a range of different communication forms in order to mesh them all together into a video. So it actually makes your assessments a little bit more accessible and give other students an opportunity to shine. And it all depends on the way that you use that assignment to create sort of creative limits and encourage certain kinds of creativity and planning process while not trying to make it all about production. And we can actually support writing rubrics and assignments so that you're not missing the forest for the trees. You're not like completely forgetting your course content just because all of a sudden now you're trying to make a video. There's definitely a delicate balance there. And we've made lots of videos. I've created a lot of video assignments in my past. So I'm happy to help and consult with any faculty member who wants to say, I want to make videos with my students, but I don't quite know how to make an assignment that would utilize digital storytelling.
It's awesome.
That is awesome. And it sounds like you have experience, you've brought some experience to the college. I was about to ask, you know, what do you find joy working at CCD? Do you like our college? Perhaps tell us a little bit about you and what brought you to the school, or how, the road that got you here.
Sure. I had an interesting road into education, and it actually started through production. I started working for nonprofits and made videos and vlogs and wrote, and I studied photography and art in college. And then I traveled a lot, and that led me into a job in a traveling school where I learned how to be a teacher. I learned how to develop curriculum, and I built my own course on media and technology. And then that sort of translated into supporting other faculty members and making their assignments more new media friendly and more accessible in a public facing manner. So students could turn in not an essay, but a blog, or make a digital portfolio instead of just, making it in paper. And it was a way to support faculty and students in developing those skills that are truly marketable in any discipline out in the workforce. Yeah, and then I actually started at CCD as a tutor within the digital zone, because I moved to Denver to stop traveling compulsively. And so this was my opportunity to get back into education, but still use my media skills. And then I became the coordinator just this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love it. Our CTE boards, I have been at 2 advisory boards of industry folks, and when students have this skill in their bag of tricks, especially small businesses and startups, if they've got an intern or an employee who can also turn around digital assets and short stories and convey information in a multimodal way, their ears perk up. I mean, it's an employable, practical skill.
Absolutely.
Hey, boss, to sort of connect last season to this season, Lindsay, last season we met, Stacey Sanders was a guest on every episode. She's a friend of mine who, her charity, my comedy shows benefit her charity. We donate 10% to Elevating Connections. Their programming is centered around youth who are separated from their siblings by the foster care system. They also have, they work with youth in systems of care. And you mentioned a nonprofit. This year, she has an interest, and we have hopes to involve the youth in Elevating Connections with digital storytelling. And one way we thought of it is to maybe ask our work studies, like Hannah, look how awesome she's doing with running the graphics today. Can she help and create a digital story or a video for Elevating Connections. And we're in discussion of trying to have an event December 7th at the end of the semester to showcase our digital stories. So it sounds like you have experience working with nonprofits and digital storytelling. Can you talk about that? And do you think it's something we as a campus could do to work with our local nonprofits to teach them the skill and help them make videos?
Absolutely. Yeah, my experience with nonprofits is every form of media actually was what I produced, including videos. But I feel like everyone, small businesses, big businesses, all really benefit from digital stories, because that is what people click on when they go to the website. It's especially when people are looking on their phones, on mobile platforms, they click on the button to watch the video rather than read all the text. So if you're trying to get anyone to know anything about your nonprofit, your small business, or anything, if you make a video, in a 2-minute video that tells the same information but with visuals and with music, you're more likely to have people not only ingest the information but remember it too, and maybe even share it as well. I also have a small business, and I've made my own digital stories for that too. I ran a bakery all throughout COVID, so I made videos to promote my work and to even just kind of share what I was making with my customers.
What's your favorite thing to bake?
Sourdough bread.
Wow, that sounds tasty. My favorite thing to bake is me. Hello. Sorry, should we be promoting the Cannabis Sciences certificate? All right. Lindsay, before we go, I want to ask you about the Excel Zone Digital Storytelling Scholarship. The deadline apparently is November 3rd this year. Can you talk a little bit about the scholarship, and maybe is there going to be a film fest?
Absolutely. Thank you for reminding me about that. So there's 2 different ways you can get scholarship money for making digital stories. The first one is through applying to the biannual digital storytelling scholarship. So we have one in the fall and one in the spring. You can only win it once throughout your CCD career, and each one of those is $500. And that is just making a video, making a digital story, and submitting it into the Academic Works scholarship page. And we have it all linked within our website, which is ccd.edu/DST. We can also help anyone learn the skills in order to be able to submit for this scholarship from start to finish, either with our Digital Zone coaches. We also have workshops that are being led constantly that you can find on the event calendar for CCD. And then we're also offering this Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're offering an intensive 4-hour digital storytelling certificate training for students. So that will be led by students, led by our or former students, led by our Digital Zone coaches who've been here for about 3 years, and they really know their stuff. But that can help support anyone who wants to apply for the scholarship that's due on November 3rd. We will have another one too, and those are all available on the event calendar.
That training is absolutely awesome. I know our Work City students did it last year and really spoke highly of it and really had some good skills.
Yeah, lots of great feedback, and I really enjoy it. Students in Intro to the Entertainment Industry will enjoy taking that. Hannah, I hope you enjoy transitioning from being our graphics master to learning how to do digital storytelling. I think you did it last year, Hannah. Well, Lindsay, I appreciate you joining us and taking time out of your busy day. Go ahead.
Can I just make a plug for the Digital Story Fest?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we are actually doing things a little bit differently this year for the annual film festival that we've had maybe now for the last 8 years. We're rebranding it as the Digital Story Fest. It'll be the same time frame. It's May 5th of 2022. So way out there, but we're not thinking of it as way out there. We're actually amping it up from now. We're changing it up in terms of the way that we're collecting submissions. We're actually really encouraging students to work with us and then submitting through us rather than having just open submissions, because we really want to support high quality work and make sure that people really understand what digital storytelling is when they submit, because the money is more. Last year, it was $250 per category, and this year it's $850 per category. So with that that increase in scholarship money. We want to increase our expectations for quality and to support that along the way.
Girl, $850 pays for a 3-credit class. Girl.
Right.
Yeah,
That'll
and
get
there's
you.
5 of them. So it's
Free
going to be a
adjuncts
big money
and
night.
sport studies. Sorry, I stepped on what you said, Lindsay.
I love it.
But we're also going to be accepting submissions starting now. And so if you come talk to us, we can show you how to submit your digital story. And we're taking early submissions December 13th, end of this term. And then the very final submission deadline is May 2nd.
I love it.
I will follow up about the charity work, and then we'll hopefully be able to invite you back around December 13th to sort of recap, maybe see some student works, and then we'll have you back next semester as well. It was a very successful program, and I'm glad you took time to meet us today. I wish we could spend all day with you. You know how SWOOP is. SWOOP's team, the agents and managers. We have the mascot coming up, everybody. So a nice round of applause for Lindsay. I thought you did great. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
So Nick, what we're going to do, and Hannah and team, will do a couple more announcements, and then we're going to meet. Before we get to SWOOP, we've lined up some people who auditioned for our school mascot and didn't get the gig.
That is correct. That is correct.
So coming up November 16th, we're going to do virtual bowling. Nick, I don't even know how this is one of those ones where like I came up with the idea and I still don't know how it's going to happen yet.
So we've advertised an idea and we're not sure how we're going to bowl virtually, but we'll figure it out. And you sure as hell want to be here because it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun. I have a vision for what we're going to do, and I think we'll be able to pull it off. So
it's right around Thanksgiving, so I'm sure there will be plenty of turkey jokes.
Is there any way we could get the improv team to wear bowling shirts? That is such a is that an East Coast improv team thing, or Canadian? Like I'm a Boston comedian, and within New England up to Canada, I've experienced plenty of improv teams, and they all seem to have a bowling shirt theme.
I think they're also on the bowling team. They're double dutying.
Right. So I think it would be. We'll talk to Hannah about that. She's like, our queen of improv here, and I wonder if we need bowling shirts. Thank you.
And we need bowling shoes, because have you ever seen someone walk on a tile floor in bowling shoes? It's funny.
Okay, and now I've worked with an Elvis impersonator that sang a song called Bowling Shoe. And it's just now in my head. Next is our season finale is going to be a showcase of student talent. So that's we'll show some virtual digital stories here. We'll show off the finest students and whatnot. So get on stage, get good, and we'll invite you to the Student Talent Virtual Showcase on December 7th here on CityHawk Talk Live. And without further ado, boss, you lined up an impressive roster of failed mascots.
No, I really have, Chuck. In fact, I'm gonna bring a chair over. I'm not sure if any of them might want to sit, but first, I put the call out. Go for it. You're
a chair, and you just got a chair.
I did. It's a chair carrying a chair. It's one of the tricks we do here.
Oh, whoa! This is fun. Hi, Maurice. Nick, Maurice, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Maurice is a big pink gorilla. Is that the truth, Dr. Nick?
I believe so. I think he prefers magenta. Yeah, but he's pink gorilla. He's not real happy about not getting the job. I mean, he can't pay rent now.
No, I'm sorry, Maurice. That's terrible. Maurice, loved you in that movie with Hugh Grant. What was it like to kiss him?
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah. Stories with the prostitute later. Yeah.
All right. So I'm the only one who's seen the movie, Maurice. Nobody else knows about it, and it's just. Are
you the same Maurice that confused people called Steve Miller?
That sums up the Trump administration. It's just a bunch of pink gorillas.
Do you speak to the pompatus of love? We do speak to
That's
the
right.
love.
Can you explain that just for anybody who didn't get it when it got said, boss?
I don't know. Isn't it Aristotle that said no? It was Plautus that said, comedy stops being funny when you explain it.
Right, you're right. So, folks, you're gonna have to figure out why the Pompatus of Love and Maurice go together. Maurice, what are you binge watching? Is that Madonna? Doing so.
Paris is burning. What are you? Wait, Paris is
Paris burning. Excellent. Well, and we were asking this question of all the guests. Was how involved was your species in the COVID outbreak? Oh, so you worked in the lab. Okay, got it.
Wow.
Maurice, I'm so proud of you. Thanks for joining us. I know that it's a busy close of the show. We've got a bunch to do. So thank you, Maurice. Everybody give Maurice a nice round of applause.
Thanks for coming in, Maurice. I'll speak to Mahoney about who she hired, I guess. I don't know. If you see SWOOP, cut him some slack, all right?
Right. Be nice to SWOOP. It's a big deal. All right. You don't have to be nice to SWOOP, but it just shows why your poor sportsmanship cost you the gig. Right. Speaking.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Sports. Bye.
Yes, you can take a banana with you. That's fine. Yes.
Hannah, I think our next guest is coming to us via WebEx Live. I'm not sure how this works. There's our this is Swoopy.
I heard he got escorted off campus.
Swoopy got a police escort out of, I believe it's the Confluence building. Swoopy, got to ask you, what's your batting average? Okay, not a tough question. Are you a bat out of hell, Swoopy? I think your screen froze. I think Swoopy's screen froze.
Hey, if we promise not to look, we turn into a vampire.
I think that's Swoopy is not as participatory.
Verona got his tongue.
Right. Thanks to Kelly Zapp for loaning us her photo of the bat that really showed up on campus this week.
He did tell me he's binge watching Batman Returns.
Yeah. Remember last year how we kept bringing back Bernie in the chair? I think we have to bring back Swoopy in other.
Yeah.
Do
we want to ask him how his species was involved with the COVID?
Oh, I forgot to ask. How was your species involved? Did you work in the lab? I don't think Swoopy's going to answer. Very mad at Swoop for not being the mascot.
Look, our next mascot is here.
Oh wow, we do have another mascot.
We do, and y'all. You will not believe this. It's not Fear Street. You will not believe this.
Fear Street, and that's such a fun idea.
It took a lot to get this guy here, and he won't be here very long because there are all kinds of weirdos that'll be out here to try and get pictures.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our show for the first time ever, Bigfoot.
Bigfoot is here.
Bigfoot, everybody. Here is Bigfoot. This is the Bigfoot. Good to see you, Biggie.
Hey,
oh, Biggie, can't you see? Here's a question all of us want to ask.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Why are you so unphotogenic? I mean, nobody can take a decent photo of you.
Oh, it's a superpower.
Right. And so we should just, what's your favorite movie, Bigfoot?
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes. Wow, that was almost. All right, this is the one a lot of people want to know. Big feet, big. Oh, cult of following idiots. Okay, right.
You have a big cult following idiots.
I know I'm watching the show. Bigfoot, do you watch Paranormal on Camera?
Yeah, he says that's how he finances himself. He gets residuals.
Right. What is fantastic is your tiara is going from Nick to Bigfoot. Nick to Bigfoot. We should follow up, and then we'll go to the slide about we'll talk about the haunted experience. Bigfoot, how involved was your species in the COVID outbreak? Not at all. Okay, good to know. Thank you, Bigfoot. What a great guest. What a great guest. So just moments to go before we bring out SWOOP, the big mascot. This is a big deal for us. A great get. Bigfoot, thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming, Bigfoot. Thanks for coming.
I assume
find out where you're going? No?
Bigfoot is headed for a walk in the woods. Real short.
Meet him, yeah.
Hannah, if you don't mind, you had shown it earlier, and we have a slide for our big Halloween production, Fear Street 2021, October 27th at 6 p.m. the King Center, 5th floor. Boss, what are we doing? This is awesome.
I think it's going to be haunted and scary and well worth coming on up and taking a look at what's going on here.
Kind of a haunted house experience. It's fun, but then a lot of our students get jobs doing makeup and effects for the haunted houses that are big and all around town during. So this year, Lana Melendez came up with the idea of let's do Fear Street 2021. It's apparently very important to say the year after it. There's a lot going on behind Fear Street, so I'm thrilled that we're going to be there. Hannah, thanks for bringing up that slide. That was important to all of us. And now let's bring out the big star.
Big star.
Gang,
we got lots of questions for the swoops.
We have one mascot, and he's official, and it's SWOOP. So please,
and here he is. We have SWOOP, ladies and gentlemen. We have SWOOP. Hey, SWOOP. SWOOP.
There it is.
Hey.
There it is. SWOOP. There it is. Shaka laka shaka. All right. Yes. SWOOP. What's your favorite appetizer?
Wings.
Who knew? Wings. SWOOP, you're a talented mascot. Can you tell us about your approach to being a mascot?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, you wing it.
He wings it. Get it.
Finish this song lyric, SWOOP. You are the wind beneath my
wings. He's got it. This guy's a genius.
SWOOP, what position do you play on the Community College of Denver hockey team?
Let's win like your politics.
Just like your politics. Awesome. SWOOP, what happened to that gold chain you used to wear?
You did it. You really?
Oh my God, you hawked it. I can't believe you hawked it. What's your favorite movie, SWOOP?
The Birdman of Alcatraz.
Wow. Competition between campus mascots. A Roadrunner, a Lynx, and a CityHawk. Which one gets the highest? Yes, CityHawks.
What? GPA?
Right. Yeah. Who's your celebrity crush, SWOOP?
Big Bird.
Big Bird. I see that. SWOOP, we've been asking everybody here, what are you binge watching?
Wings did it.
Wings. Oh my God. The sitcom, like what's that, from the 80s? That thing was so right. It's just wow, you're right. It's a good show. And finally, SWOOP, how involved was your species in the COVID outbreaks? Nothing. No, Hawks had nothing to do with that, man. Well, I appreciate your time, SWOOP. You're a legend on this campus, and we're so lucky you stopped in. Can you just give us one big go, CityHawks, to get us out of here?
Yes!
Way to go, CityHawks. I think that's our finale, everybody. SWOOP. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for season 2, the first episode of CityHawk Talk Live. Dr. Nick. I think that was a successful 1 hour production.
I think it sure was. And on that note, we will sign off until next month.
Right. So our thanks to Hannah and the rest of the production team. Way to go, Work Studies and all, for making this an awesome production.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks to the Excel Zone. Thanks to the Spark Office and Student Life. We'll see you at Fall Fest this week.
Yay!
Hey!